जैसे ही लाइव आ जाएगा, तरुण सर will give us a thumbs up. Yes, we are live.
You can
Monica
start.
ma'am, you can start.
Start.
Yes, we are live now.
So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome you all for the second session of Physical Education Foundation of India 2.0. I would like to thank you all for finding time and visiting today's session. And I'm sure that this session will be enlightening and enjoyable experience for all. Well, Guru to the light in the dark, and inspiration and aspiration. So happy Guru Purnima to all. On this auspicious day, I strongly relate with Ellen's lyrics. You live, you learn, you love, you learn. You cry, you learn, you lose, you learn. So we all know life is a learning process, and every experience we have is an opportunity to either retreat or to grow. As a sport mind, we choose to grow. We are learning new things day by day, every step of the ways. So today, to extend this learning process, I, Dr. Monica Bhatnagar, on behalf of PEFI, welcome our first expert, Dr. Ajita Singh. Dr. Ajita, Professor and Head, Department of Sports Science, Punjabi University, Patiala, Punjab. Our another speaker who is presenting the concluding remark and vote of thanks will be presented by the Mr. Subrato Dey, who is first class rank holder in West Bengal and second hand rank holder in university in MSc Physiology. We have Tarun sir. Obviously everybody know this space. So Tarun sir is the Joint Secretary of Physical Education Foundation of India. So I come to Dr. Ajita ma'am. Dr. Ajita, her area of specialization is exercise physiology, sports ergonomics, sports nutrition, health fitness management, physical activity, and human growth. She did her PhD in cardiorespiratory adjustments in relation to exercise and anaerobic threshold level in young females. She is also a member of many professional bodies or organizations. She has attended many national and international conferences, seminars, and have been many articles and research papers have been published in the reputed books and journals. She has also given her services in Sports Authority of India and Government College of Girls, Patiala. And now she is working as a professor in Department of Sports Science, Patiala. So we welcome you all, welcome you ma'am. You're such a dynamic personality and we have among us. So today she is taking a very special topic on anaerobic threshold, a measure of training status in sports. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So, before starting my talk, सबसे पहले मैं अपने गुरु डॉक्टर आशीष गोस्वामी को प्रणाम करती हूँ, जिनकी वजह से आज मैं यहाँ हूँ। गुरु का आपके जीवन में क्या महत्व है, ये सबको पता है, लेकिन जब हम कोई मंजिल अचीव करते हैं, मंजिल के रास्ते में हमें जो रुकावटें आती हैं, उस रुकावटों का कैसे सामना करना है, उसके बारे में हमें ज्ञान देने वाले गुरु ही हैं। इसीलिए कहा गया है कि गुरु गोविंद दोऊ खड़े काके लागू पाए, बलिहारी गुरु आपने जिन गोविंद। तो आज के इस सेशन को शुरू करने से पहले सबसे पहले अपने गुरु को प्रणाम करती हूँ और आप सबको गुरु पूर्णिमा की हार्दिक बधाई भी देती हूँ। So, I'm thankful to the PEFI family, particularly Dr. Piyush Jain, General Secretary of the PEFI, Working Committee, Dr. Sharad Kumar Sharma, Joint Secretary and coordinator of this live session, Dr. Amrita Pandey, Dr. Tarun Kumar, Joint Secretary of PEFI, Dr. Monica Bhatnagar, and all other members who have provided me opportunity to discuss my research at this platform. PEFI has proved that this lockdown does not affect the teaching and learning process. They have collected all physical educationists, sports scientists, specialized coaches, and professional trainers under one roof to promote physical education and sports at the grassroots level. They are working very hard for the development of sports and physical education. I congratulate the team PEFI and their organizers that they are doing a marvelous job in this field. Really, I mean it. And I feel myself lucky to be part of this family. So I congratulate and really thankful to all of you and grateful to all of you who have invited me on this platform. Thank you very much. So should I start sharing my screen, Tarun sir?
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
Thank you. Is it visible to all? Is it
Yes.
visible to all?
It's visible, ma'am.
Yeah.
You can make it full screen also.
So now it is full screen.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely perfect, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So before starting my talk, I will tell you in brief about my department where I am working. I am student of sports sciences of this department only. I've done my MSc from this department and PhD in sports sciences from the same department. And now with God's grace, I'm working as head of the department in this department. We are running MSc sports science course, MPhil sports sciences and PhD sports science. Other than this, we are running two postgraduate diploma. One is in health fitness trainer and second is postgraduate diploma in Gatka training. And another diploma we are starting this year, diploma in nutrition and dietetics. So eligibility criteria about seats and duration, everything is available on our website. So I was just introducing about our department. Now, without wasting much time, now I will come to my today's talk. The title of my talk is Anaerobic Threshold as a Measure of Training Status in Sports. Recent decades have witnessed a remarkable expansion of the application of scientific principles to sports and exercise. जैसे जैसे साइंस में तरक्की होती जा रही है, वैसे वैसे साइंटिफिक प्रिंसिपल्स को स्पोर्ट्स ट्रेनिंग के लिए और स्पोर्ट्स प्रोफेशनल के परफॉर्मेंस को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए कैसे साइंटिफिक प्रिंसिपल्स वी कैन अप्लाई, इट इज इंक्रीजिंग बाय डे. This application of science to sports are especially evident in the field of physiology. Indeed, sports practitioners are quick to realize the importance of acquiring basic physiological knowledge that can produce better effect. So physiology is the main core objective. So in my title, I have used the term training status. What do you mean by training status? Physiologically, training status is actually, it is a measurement specific to the fitness level. What is fitness level? Before this, I will just elaborate fitness. Fitness connotes a state of optimal physical well-being. However, a universally accepted definition of physical fitness is difficult to find. Somebody says that absence of disease is fitness. Somebody says if a person is mentally fit, then it is fitness. Even WHO has defined fitness by adding so many other components. Collaboratively, it is known as physically fit. But in terms of sports sciences, we are concerned with the fitness specific to the particular event. Curitin, a pioneer in the fitness movement, defined it as the ability to handle the body well and the capacity to work hard over a long period of time without diminished efficiency. So this is the definition of fitness in terms of, you can say, physiology. So how much work the sports person can perform without getting fatigue. A monograph published by President's Council of Physical Fitness to offer guidance to those interested in improving their physical fitness. It is a physically fit individual is described as one able to perform vigorous work without undue fatigue and still have enough energy left for enjoying hobbies and recreational activities as well as for meeting and emergencies. Exercise physiology texts have similar descriptive rather than quantitative definitions of physical fitness. In terms of exercise physiology, Lamb defines it as the capacity to meet successfully the present and potential physical challenges of life. So despite all the interest generated by physical fitness, a need remains for clear definition of fitness to allow accurate assessment of an individual's level of fitness. It is a complex term. To define physically fit in terms of exercise physiology, it is really complex. Why? This complexity arises because physical fitness is made up of series of components. It includes flexibility, it includes strength, and it includes endurance. We will concentrate on endurance today. Endurance, in layman's language, it is known as stamina, and in exercise physiology language, we term physical fitness in terms of aerobic fitness as which determines the endurance. Aerobic fitness is another term which is used to define the ability to sustain work for prolonged periods. And maximum oxygen uptake or maximal aerobic power is the indicator of aerobic fitness and is also termed as aerobic capacity. It is a fact that maximum oxygen consumption values of endurance athletes are about twice that of normal persons. We all know that players or you can say endurance players, they possess higher stamina as compared to the sedentary persons. Sometimes this degree of, if we compare the level, it is almost double of the sedentary person. Why it is so? The major contributing factor may be the genetic endowment and the type of training. One thing is the genetic endowment, the biological potential what they possess, and the type of training they undergo. The maximum oxygen consumption values can give the information about the training status of the athlete. We can identify the training status from the maximal, if we determine VO2 max, we can determine the training status. But there are studies which have proved that if two persons having same amount of VO2 max, they can perform differently. It has been reported by many studies having same VO2 max, but there is a variability in the performance level. Why is it so? And also highly trained athletes perform at a high percentage of their VO2 max with minimal lactate accumulation. Why is it so? What happens? What is the physiological mechanism behind this? Has also been proved that aerobic training increases both the number of capillaries per muscle fibers and the number of capillaries for a given cross-sectional area of muscle. Both these changes improve blood perfusion through the muscles, thereby enhancing the exchange of gases, waste and nutrients between the blood and the muscle fibers. And physical performance in various competitive sports events depend largely on the integrated status of the different physiological mechanisms of the individual, which includes the state of health and the capacity of physiological responses to meet the challenges of competitive situation. And apart from the tactics and skill, optimum level of performance depend on the development of these responses through training. So one thing is the basic potential, basic physiological determinants, and second important thing is the development of these biological potentials. So therefore, the main purpose of physiological research is to evaluate and monitor the training schedule effectively, because it is not only the potential. Potential is having, I mean, if a person comes with basic potential, but he is not undergoing proper type of training, then also it will not improve. The most important physiological factor for high performance in marathon is to possess a high aerobic capacity or VO2 max, each one of which makes some independent contribution to the whole state. While some of these components are related, it is possible for an athlete to have a great deal of one component and a very little of the another. Most of these sports, of course, require a contribution from a number of components of fitness in varying degrees. For example, in basketball, if we consider team events, basketball is there, volleyball is there, even football is there. In these events, the player, for a successful sportive performance, player needs basic endurance is required. But because the even in hockey also, now it is a intermittent game. Physiologically, we used to call it intermittent game, because the player has to depend upon a number of sprints during the game, and the player has to उसको जैसे जो even playing surface जो है, that is also contributing factor उसके लिए, because he has to depend upon fast speed, because in hockey particularly AstroTurf has been replaced by grassy field has been replaced by the AstroTurf, which due to which the speed during of the player is also very important. So there are not only the basic endurance, but even speed is also important, strength is also important, flexibility is also important. So all these components are responsible for the successful sportive performance, but the degree at which these are required or contribution of different components is of varying degree. So furthermore, trained subjects accumulate less lactate than untrained subjects at a given submaximal workload. This has prompted the consideration of anaerobic threshold as a determinant of fitness. तो अब तक की स्लाइड्स में हमने ये समझा कि सबसे पहले फिजिकल फिटनेस क्या है in terms of exercise physiology. Physical fitness को we used to call it as aerobic fitness. Aerobic fitness को more specifically we used to define as VO2 max, and VO2 max of different players belonging to different categories of games is different. And uske saath bhi we have seen that in studies have reported this, the fact that the players, the endurance players, they possess almost double the level of VO2 max, and even two players having same level of VO2 max, even then one will get fatigue earlier and other will get fatigue later. So these are the some facts that we have discussed in the previous slides. Now another important thing that we have seen, the studies have reported, these are the trained subjects accumulate less lactate than untrained subjects at a given submaximal workload. Now what is this? This has prompted the consideration of anaerobic threshold as a determinant of fitness. Now what is anaerobic threshold? Anaerobic threshold, or the concept of anaerobic threshold or lactate threshold, was introduced in order to define the point when metabolic acidosis and also the associated changes in gas exchange in the lungs occur during exercise. Or in other words, we used to say this is the point at which anaerobic metabolism accelerates when during graded exercise protocol. The point arises, the intensity arises when the anaerobic metabolism accelerates. We will discuss the mechanism in detail in other slides. During increment exercise at a certain intensity, there is a non-linear steep increase in ventilation, which is known as ventilatory anaerobic threshold. So this anaerobic threshold can be studied as ventilatory threshold, or it can be studied as lactate threshold if there is a non-linear increase in blood lactate concentration. It is also a fact. During increment exercise protocol, there is a non-linear increase in lactate also. I will show you the graphs in other slides. A non-linear increase in carbon dioxide production, an increase in end-tidal oxygen, an increase in carbon dioxide production, an arterial lactate level of 4 millimole per liter, known as onset of blood lactate accumulation, or you can say OBLA. This is also a phase which arises at the level of anaerobic threshold. And an abrupt increase in expired oxygen fraction these are collectively named as anaerobic threshold. Now, what is ventilatory threshold? The ventilatory threshold during short-term exercise has been defined as the oxygen uptake immediately below the VO2 at which pulmonary ventilation increases disproportionately relative to VO2, and the ventilatory threshold for long-term exercise as the VO2 immediately below the VO2 at which the ventilation continues to increase with time rather than attain steady state. Now, if we see this graph, इसमें आप देखिए on x-axis oxygen consumption is shown, and on y-axis here ventilation is shown, and on this side lactic acid is shown. But we will discuss this ventilatory threshold here. You will see that initially during graded exercise protocol, there is a linear relationship of ventilation with the oxygen consumption. But here intensity comes when there is a sudden increase in the ventilation. And this is at first point, if we see breath by breath analysis, it is for short phase. There are two changes. I mean, two abrupt changes occur. In first change, this linearity is broken. I mean, suddenly ventilation starts. I mean, carbon dioxide production suddenly increases, and then after some time plateau comes, and there is a steep rise in the hyperventilation, and hyperventilation starts. It is due to the excess production of the excess carbon dioxide produced due to the buffer action of the sodium bicarbonate, because at this time, before this, during this graded exercise protocol, before this, the energy is being provided by the aerobic metabolism, and after this, and the end product is pyruvic acid. After this, at the VT1, this point is first phase is VT1, that is VT1 is the ventilatory threshold 1, and second point is the ventilatory threshold 2. This anaerobic, this phase is also termed as anaerobic transition phase. So this transition phase is very important in sports for training purpose. This is very important. This actually determines the fitness level. Actually, this determines how much lactate can be tolerated by the athlete. And in terms of lactate threshold, it is shown like this. This is the running speed. On x-axis running speed is shown, intensity of exercise is shown, and on y-axis blood lactate is shown. And this point is known as lactate inflection point sometimes. What is this? This is the point. This point actually is it depicts the exercise intensity at which the blood concentration of lactate and or lactic acid begins to increase exponentially. Before this, you can see there is not increase in this is the speed. This shows the intensity of exercise. Before this, the relationship of lactate production, it is almost steady. After this point, there is a steep rise in the lactate. it is often expressed as 85% of the maximum heart rate, or sometimes 75% of the maximum oxygen uptake. It determines the actually anaerobic threshold level. So what happens here? Before this, the ATP is provided by oxidative phosphorylation. Before this, lactate is produced, but it is being dissociated. I mean, anaerobic threshold, anaerobic metabolism is less. And after this point, the anaerobic metabolism starts, and this lactate is produced, and because of this, excess carbon dioxide is produced, because I mean the production of carbon dioxide is more now after this, and which actually acts as a chemoreceptor, I mean, which stimulates the brain. It's a respiratory stimulant. It will stimulate the brain to hyperventilate. So sometimes people used to ask that if lactate threshold comes first or ventilatory threshold comes first. होता क्या है कि एक्चुअली पहले इससे पहले का जो स्टेज है, इस इंटेंसिटी से पहले का जो स्टेज है, इसके पहले जो अगर लैक्टेट प्रोड्यूस भी हो रहा है, लैक्टेट टू पायरुवेट रेशियो इफ वी कंसीडर, देन लैक्टेट प्रोडक्शन इज लेस एज कंपेयर टू पायरुवेट. सो उससे पहले इट इज बीइंग मतलब कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड प्रोडक्शन लेस है, बट आफ्टर दिस जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड प्रोडक्शन ज्यादा हो जाता है बिकॉज ऑफ द इंक्रीज इन द एनारोबिक मेटाबॉलिज्म. और एक टॉलरेंस लिमिट है प्लेयर का, जो जहां तक टॉलरेट कर पाया, मतलब उसका अमाउंट ऑफ लैक्टेट डिटरमिन्स द टॉलरेंस लेवल. आफ्टर दिस इट विल स्टार्ट accumulating and fatigue starts. This is the basic thing which happens. This is the basic mechanism which happens during this anaerobic threshold level. But for determining anaerobic threshold with these two methods, with ventilatory threshold as well as lactate threshold, we need sophisticated apparatus, and we coaches will have to depend upon the sophisticated labs, exercise physiology labs, and they will have to bring the player to the lab. And sometimes practically it is difficult. Then Conconi, who was a biochemist, Italian biochemist, he has given us one protocol which is known as Conconi protocol, which is named after his name. Conconi protocol, in which we used to calculate this heart rate deflection point. The relationship of heart rate with the speed, I mean intensity of the exercise, is also linear with during graded exercise exercise protocol. As the protocol of the as the intensity of the exercise is increased, the heart rate is also increased. But at this point, at suddenly one during a graded exercise protocol, a point comes, an intensity comes where there is sudden deflection in the heart rate. There is no further increase in the heart rate, but there is a deflection point, and this point is known as heart rate deflection point, and the heart rate corresponding to this point is known as the AT heart rate. So if we consider this AT heart rate as training heart rate, then there studies have been proved that there is certainly a right shift of the curve. I mean, the lactate threshold or anaerobic threshold is delayed, or in other words, we can say the fatigue is delayed, or more specifically, we can say it will help to improve the endurance of the player. So, what is this protocol? This protocol can be done in the ground on the 400-meter track. With this is the running speed of the player, which is being after every 2 minutes the speed is increased and the heart rate is recorded. We used to do this practical inside for diploma course students. We used to perform this practical, and everybody is familiar with this test, and this is very easy to perform for everybody in the ground. So this is a very important and you mean say I will say that this is very effective because its results are very good. I will show you the results, some of the studies we have done. So nevertheless, during exercise of increasing intensity, rise in blood lactate concentration is an indication of increase in glycogen metabolism. So this increase in blood lactate has been interpreted as a reflection of the onset of hypoxia in skeletal muscles and the exercise intensity at which anaerobic metabolism complements the regeneration of ATP by aerobic metabolism, and has also been called as the anaerobic threshold. During exercise of increasing intensity, there is a rise of blood lactate concentration, and this response was first reported half a century ago. While appearance of lactate in blood during exercise is a result of an increased glycogenolysis, it is important to recognize that its concentration is at any time the result of balance between rate of production and removal. It has also been reported by various studies. Now, if we consider anaerobic threshold level and endurance performance, there are so many studies regarding this which have been performed. In the exercising human, maximal oxygen uptake is limited by ability of cardiorespiratory system to deliver oxygen to the exercising muscle. This is shown by three major lines of evidence. First evidence for this is when oxygen delivery is altered by blood doping or hypoxia or beta blockade, VO2 max changes accordingly. Second is the increase in VO2 max with training results primarily from an increase in maximal cardiac output, not an increase in AV oxygen difference. And when a small muscle mass is over-perfused during exercise, it has an extremely high capacity for consuming oxygen. Training and anaerobic threshold. Training also has different effects on blood lactate concentration and ventilatory threshold. 3 weeks of cycling endurance training reduces blood lactate concentration without affecting the ventilatory threshold. Studies are there. The types of training program also affects the dissociation between blood lactate threshold and ventilatory threshold. And interval training can increase the time to both blood lactate threshold and ventilatory threshold. But endurance training can delay the onset of venous blood lactate threshold, showing less effect on ventilatory threshold. In long-term high-intensity exercise, the concentration of muscle glycogen may be a limiting factor, and exercise just below the 80 will result in much slower depletion of muscle glycogen reserves than exercise above 80 level, and would therefore be tolerable for much longer period of time. On the other hand, there are studies who demonstrated that elevation in blood lactate concentration inhibits lipolysis in exercising man and thus force obligatory carbohydrate utilization. This indicates that the training at 80 level is suitable for endurance athletes. Training at or near anaerobic threshold level result in changes in muscle ultrastructure, capillarization, oxidative capacity, and substrate utilization. All these changes affects the endurance performance, will result in the endurance performance. The benefit which result from physiological adaptations to anaerobic training include decrease in oxygen cost for ventilation, the lactate accumulation and depletion of glycogen at a given power output. The end result is the rise in the intensity of efforts that can be sustained aerobically. So there are certain studies which are available in literature which have proved that this if training is provided to the player at or below anaerobic threshold level, then there is certainly increase in the performance. In this table, training duration is shown, and the type of subjects are shown here. Zodin et al. They performed a study on elite swimmers, and they have observed 5% changes in the lactate variable. The maximum variable was observed by Yoshida et al. In lactate variable, 37% was observed after this aerobic threshold level training. So there are other studies also there. And there are certain studies which were performed, which were guided and performed by myself. We have performed one study on the university physically active and non-active girls, and we observed that the anaerobic threshold level of the physically 80 comes earlier in case of 80 heart rate is less in case of physically active girls as compared to the control group. I mean, they possess higher VO2 max values. This was just comparison of anaerobic threshold values of control group, I mean sedentary girls and the physically active girls. And this was another study which was performed under the supervision of Ashish Goswami sir. This was my research project in Sai. So we calculated anaerobic threshold level as well as VO2 oxygen consumption, maximum VO2 max level in various age groups. We divided these players into various age groups from 8 to 12, one group, and 13 to 16. And it has been observed that higher the group, this VO2 max level of 13 to 16 age group is the maximum. Higher the group, higher will be the this VO2 max level, and maximum heart rate for lower group is maximum. And then we also observed anaerobic threshold level in a different. This is about different age groups, and this is about the different sportive events we have observed. And it was observed that for middle distance runners, we have studied middle distance runners, basketballer, hockey, volleyball, football, table tennis, and weightlifters. And maximum 80 VO2 was found in case of middle distance runners, which is a really sporting factor because they possess a higher level of endurance. So it can be concluded from the total this lecture is that anaerobic threshold represents how efficiently the muscles use oxygen to produce energy or work. As such, anaerobic threshold represents the level of work the body can sustain over an extended period. When the body is called upon to perform above anaerobic threshold, lactic acid builds in the muscle, creating fatigue. The burning sensation factor and the ability to continue at this level will be very limited, a few seconds or a few minutes, depending on the fitness level. And the anaerobic threshold represents how efficiently the muscles use oxygen to produce energy or work. As such, anaerobic threshold represents the level of work the body can sustain over an extended period. When the body is called upon to perform above 80, lactic acid builds in the muscle, creating fatigue. Improving the anaerobic threshold is paramount to developing aerobic fitness. Generally speaking, 80 may be between 52 and 95% of maximum heart rate. The more aerobically fit, the higher the anaerobic threshold is highly correlated to the endurance performance as compared to maximum aerobic capacity or VO2 max. So now I think I am able to explain the main difference between the fact that that question was that was asked in the starting of the lecture, that why two players having same amount of VO2 max but they perform differently. Why one get fatigue earlier and other get fatigue later? It is only because of the difference in their VO2 max level. So anaerobic threshold is more important as compared to VO2 max in endurance sports. Training at or little above anaerobic threshold intensity improves both the aerobic capacity and anaerobic threshold. So this is all about my talk. So any queries or questions on this? Thank you very much.
So viewers, if you have any questions, any query or doubt, you can write down in your chat box. We'd love to hear you. Any question?
Monica ma'am, you are muted. Please unmute yourself.
Do we have any questions, sir?
No, ma'am. Ma'am, please go. Proceed, please.
All right. So now concluding remark and vote of thanks is presented by Mr. Subrata Dey, who is currently working as an exercise physiologist, MYAS NIN Department of Sports Science, ICMR National Institute of Nutrition, Hyderabad. A brief introduction: he is a winner of Excellence Award 2019 in Sports Science, certified level 1 anthropometrist by ISAK, and he has also presented his research work in different national and international journals. Mr. Subrato, he had also associated and worked with junior, senior national Indian athletes and member of many associations and organizations. Subrato sir, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind introduction. And now, yes, I have to conclude this session. And so today, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You are
Yeah.
audible, sir.
Okay, should I start right now?
Yes, sir.
First of all, today it's starting, as ma'am told, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. So with this motto, on this special occasion, I would like to say my regards and gratitude to all my gurus, those who have entirely from beginning. For those person, today I am here, and even ma'am, you are also there here as a guru, everyone. So thank to all my gurus from starting school to college to university, and today I'm in working profession. So my all the gurus. First of all, ma'am, congratulate to you for this nice and wonderful presentation. It's really very insightful, and whatever you have presented, that is very crispy and very informative. So thank you so much, ma'am. And from starting, you have explained that fitness training and physical fitness, and also you have correlate the things like VO2 max, as we know as exercise physiologists, that it is one of the important parameter, so that it can be increase those training, and what are the determinants of VO2 max, that things you have explained from the starting. Also you have explained the training, that is anaerobic training, how anaerobic training can be improved through different kind of training, and this training how to modulate, and what are the adaptation related to every specific sport, that thing you also explained. And thereafter you also explain the different types of threshold, that is, as we know, anaerobic threshold, ventilatory threshold. Even apart from that, you also clearly mention what are the implications and what are the importance of particularly OBLA, that is onset of blood lactate accumulation, how training can be modulated through these determinants. You clearly explained, ma'am, that thing. So I believe our participant, mostly coaches and players, they are able, these things can be enriched and enable their training and their understanding definitely. Once again, you have clearly mentioned that anaerobic threshold in particularly cellular and metabolic level, how these things work, like how to increase the buffering capacity, and how this transition, both the aerobic and anaerobic transition zone, like you are explaining in your curve, that how it comes, is that ventilatory threshold come first or anaerobic threshold, these things you also explained. And after that, you give some good insights related to training, how this anaerobic threshold can be impart or can be incorporated in training. That thing you also explained, which is more clear. And also taking some example, like I can also add here, like what is the importance of anaerobic training, particularly distance or middle distance running or endurance game. Say for example, suppose two athletes we have, their athlete A and athlete B. So athlete A having VO2 max, like say for example 56 per ml per kg, and that anaerobic threshold heart rate is, say for example 170 beats per minute, and anaerobic threshold speed, that is like if you say 20 kilometer per hour. Similarly, B athlete having same VO2 max and equal heart rate, but anaerobic threshold speed it is more, that is 22, because A having 20 and B having 22. So definitely in competition, like obviously athlete B will be advantage, because that concept you clearly mentioned, that at or near the anaerobic threshold point, that shift the curve to right. So that thing you also explain. Definitely our coaches and our players, of course our sports scientists can, we are usually did this kind of work. That is the beauty of exercise physiology. So that thing you also clearly mentioned. Apart from that, you mentioned that what kind of training, again I am talking about training, because although these things we have to estimate, after all we have to give the feedback to the coaches and the players how they can improve. That is the beauty of exercise physiology, once again I'm saying. So these things you clearly mentioned. Definitely ma'am, I believe our participant, particularly our coaches, they already know these things. Again, once again they updated these things. So that is the beauty of sports and sports sciences. Thank you so much ma'am. So this conclusion I can make. And any questions related to this from audience, I expect they can share their questions. I got one question from chat box, ma'am. I think he was asking one question from Karanbir Singh. He was asking about, can lactate threshold be delayed with some psychological skill, even if an athlete is not conditioned or trained on particular threshold? That is the question from Karanbir Singh. Once again, I am repeating this question, ma'am. Can lactate threshold be delayed with some psychological skill, even if an athlete is not conditioned or trained on particular threshold? I think he is talking about, can lactate threshold be delayed with some psychological skill? Yes, please, ma'am.
Actually, lactic threshold is purely biochemical, and with the psychological training, Karanveer, I think you're a sports psychologist. You know, with sports, actually, motivation factor is very important to delay fatigue. There are a number of studies which have proved that even music and even this psychological training, of course, it can delay fatigue. It can delay lactate threshold. It plays important role in this. Massage is also important, very important in this. There are a number of studies on this. It can be, but not to that extent, to which endurance training, I mean, relative to endurance training, sports psychology doesn't play that much role. It plays role, because psychology plays role emotionally. The player becomes, you can say, motivated, but as far as the biochemical parameters are concerned, it depends upon the biochemical profile of the player. So for that, physical exercise, physical training is must.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. I think Mr. Karanbir already got this answer. Another question from Harsh Kumar. He is asking about what metabolic adaptation occur in response to endurance training. So this is the question from Harsh Kumar. What are the metabolic adaptation occur in response to endurance training?
So metabolic adaptation is this only. Actually, it delays anaerobic threshold. That's what I was explaining in while explaining this
Yeah.
mechanism behind this. That if we consider anaerobic threshold level heart rate as a training heart rate, then it will delay acidosis, muscular acid. It will delay the acidosis. So this adaptation occurs, and if in turn, because of this, fatigue will be delayed. This
Yeah.
adaptation is very important. This occurs. This matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Another question from Miss Surya Kumari. She is asking, is there any relationship between muscle fiber types and AT? She is
Yes,
asking
it
about.
is. Yes, muscle fiber types. Actually,
Good question, Miss Surya Kumari. Yes,
very
ma'am,
good
please.
question, because as I have told you, this biological potential, you can say, this is very important. This slow muscle fiber, there are two. If we divide muscle fiber type, this broadly there are two type of slow twitch muscle fiber and fast twitch. Slow twitch are responsible for this oxidative, this I mean say aerobic metabolism, है ना?
Yeah.
So and fast twitch is responsible for anaerobic one. So normally when we used to select talent for endurance player for endurance performances, we want that we used to say for talent selection that champions should choose their parents, because this muscle fiber type is purely genetically determined, and slow twitch muscle fiber is related to endurance players. And in endurance, I have explained that in endurance players, this anaerobic threshold level is delayed. So it is because of this muscle fiber type composition only. It is the type of the muscle fibers only. Yes, there is a correlation.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. You nicely explained this for the question. Once again, one more question. What will be the optimum level of anaerobic threshold for endurance game?
Optimum level.
Yeah.
Actually,
it is, I think, quite little bit differ, because as we have to mention nutrition.
Yes, it depends.
There is nothing.
We can't say this thing. Actually, normally it is about 70%, as I have told you, 70% of the maximum level of 70% of the VO2 max and 85% of the maximum heart rate level. So this is, as I have mentioned it earlier also.
Yes,
so it depends upon individual differences are there. It depends.
Another question from Professor Ashish Goswami sir. I think sir is also there. He is also listening. Yeah.
I will try to.
Pranam sir. Pranam Ashish Goswami sir. Sir is asking about, can you highlight the difficulties in executing Konkani test? Ma'am, it is question for you. Sir is asking, can you please highlight the difficulties in executing Konkani test? Ma'am, please. Yeah.
There are difficulties sometimes. Actually, when we want to perform it in the field, we are to actually control the speed of the player. So that execution is very. I mean, it is difficult, sir. So in the field, it is difficult, but experienced players, they used to get it. So while to control that speed, it is difficult.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, another question from Jitendra Kumar. Jitendra Kumar is asking, is lactate energy system involves in mostly all types of sport rather than combat sport?
Sorry? Is
lactate energy system involved in mostly all types of sport rather than combat sport? He is asking about energy system, I think. Lactate energy system involves in mostly all types of sport rather than combat sport. He is asking, I think, both comparative between combat sport and rather than other sport.
I think he want to ask about the importance of the selected threshold in combative sport as well as in endurance, because as I have told, what I understand, this is I think he want to ask this.
I think related to energy system he is asking.
This is related to energy systems. Actually, performance depends upon the energy system. Na? Actually, competitive sport is purely anaerobic one. So this anaerobic threshold is actually determinant of endurance. It is important for endurance events as well as for team events even. Basic fitness is important for competitive sports, but for those anaerobic threshold is not lactate is important in that, but not the anaerobic capacity is important in competitive sports. Anaerobic threshold is actually determinant of endurance.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am, for answering this all questions. Participant, you can ask more question because today we have enough time. Although ma'am completed her session within time, so we can interact more questions. We can take more questions from participant. Yeah, ma'am, can you please? It's not a question. It's from my side that. As we know, this anaerobic threshold is beneficial for endurance game. Do you think other games we can apply these things and we can get the result?
Yes, as I have told, not only in endurance events, even in case of mixed these team events. This is very important, Subrata.
Okay.
Because this determines endurance actually, because in team events, as I have given the example of hockey and basketball, in basketball the player has to sustain dribbling for some time, so it depends upon stamina. Actually that rhythm is maintained on the basis of their, so this development will be beneficial for even team events also, not only for in endurance. It is this will prove to be a key factor for their for their peak performance, but in continuous event also this will be very, very important.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I endorse that.
Yes, ma'am.
It should be, this anaerobic threshold heart rate should be considered as training heart rate, so that we can, because after some time we cannot improve the aerobic capacity, but we can always help the player to shift its fatigue, to delay its fatigue. So it will certainly help the players.
Yeah. That is the main concept, that as you told that anaerobic threshold level shift the speed lactate curve towards right. That is the main point. This is the main principle. Behind this.
Our main aim is to shift that curve. Shift of the curve. We want to delay the fatigue so that the player can endure it, can sustain its game. The resistance of the resistance of the game without getting fatigue. So to delay the fatigue is the important factor in our concept today.
So I think our coaches and players and all the physical educationalists or sports scientists, of course today they also come to know, and once again, as we know, science is all about update and information and collection of new update. So day by day we have to update these things. Definitely, my dear friends and all the participants, I think you all enjoyed today's session. So it is right now I can conclude the session. Now I can go for the vote of thanks. Any question you can ask right now, even after also in chat box, ma'am's details is there and I'm also there. You can ask anytime for details, because you know this topic, it is not like within 40 or 50 minutes we can cover. There are a lot of things, because
even my email ID is also there. Anybody can contact me anytime.
Definitely. So dear participant, you can ask, you can keep in contact with we all. So definitely in coming time we can interact with you all. So here I am concluding the session. Now I will go for vote of thanks, right, Dr. Monica ma'am?
So I think we have covered everything. And anything else you like to mention before we wrap up, ma'am?
Thank you very much. I enjoyed the session and I will love to be part of this family, and I
Wonderful
really
explanations of your questions, ma'am. Wonderful explanation and wonderful session. Please accept our thanks for a great presentation. And I would like to thank you all for your time and participating
should I
in
start,
today's-
ma'am, for vote of thanks?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So thank you everybody, dear participant. It's indeed my pleasure to be here with all. First of all, I would like to congratulate Dr. Ajita ma'am for your beautiful, such a clear and crisp and solid explanation regarding this hard topic, you can say, as in exercise physiology. It is quite hard topic to cover or wrap up within this 50 or 40 minutes. Anyway, you cover all this topic in a vivid and lucid manner, ma'am. And from my side, I would like to thank our PEFI, Physical Education Foundation of India, that is National Sports Promotion Organization, recognized by the Ministry of Sports, Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. PEFI really doing a wonderful job. And after successful completion of PEFI Live 1.0 and the inauguration, and highly appreciated by our Sports Ministry, Kiren Rijiju ji, before this PEFI live session 2.0, that is very, very good news for all the physical education leaders, apart from that, sports scientists, and of course our players. And however, today we assembled here another new interesting topic. So now I will, I am very lucky and I am having with you all for proposing this vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank entire team PEFI, each and everyone, those who are behind this screen, Dr. Saraj Sharma sir coordinating here, Dr. Monica ma'am, Amrita ma'am, Mr. Tarun Sharma ji, of course, he is also there. And from the beginning to the planning and good successful execution of this program, really it is very appreciated. And PEFI is doing a wonderful job in our country, not only in physical education. Apart from that, they are doing, they are the only organization, I can say, that everyone from physical education professionals, sports scientists, sports medicine doctors, sports professional, high performance coaches, everyone, they assembled in a same side. So really I congratulate for that, each and everyone. And I would like to thank Mr. Piyush Jain sir, Dr. Piyush Jain sir. He is the key icon of this throughout entire team PEFI, and sir is doing a wonderful job, which is really appreciable. And of course, our moderator, Monica ma'am, Amrita ma'am, Tarun Sharma sir, once again, even Dr. Saraj Sharma sir is not here. He is the in charge of this PEFI live session. I would like to thank sir also. And our working PEFI working committee, Professor Upal Sarji, he's our PEFI Z, and under his guidance, we are looking forward to update ourselves and for new program, because as you know, we are just spending our time within lockdown, and our sports and our players, they are definitely, there's a critical time, and PEFI is not giving anyone to bore. They are giving to update. They can connect it every sports person, our athletes, and of course our coaches. So I would like to thank each and everyone. And as you know, every successful event is success those who are there, that is audience. Our participant is continuously, they are supporting their valuable interaction and feedback. That's why we are here today. So I would like to special thank all the participants, whoever are over here throughout the country, and apart from that, I think abroad they are also watching us. So thanks to all the participants for your kind support, valuable feedback. We can continue our PEFI live session in coming time more interestingly. So thanks once again, each and everyone. Thank you so much. Yes, over to you, Dr. Monica ma'am.
thank you so much.
Tarun Sharma sir, you can ask, you can add anything.
Monica ma'am, you are muted. Your mic is muted.
Yeah. Monica ma'am, you just unmute yourself.
No, I would again thank you, Ajita ma'am, thank you, Subrata sir, and all our participants who are viewing this program, this webinar, and we hope to see you again in our next time. So happy Guru Purnima, happy Sunday, and have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you each and everyone. Wish you a good journey in coming time. आज गुरु पूर्णिमा की सबके हमारे तरफ से बधाई, और of course please stay at home and stay safe. Jai Hind. Thank you
Jai
very
Hind.
much.
Jai Hind. Thank you.